Inside of 48 hours this week, mortgage rates touched a one-year high. Inflation posted its biggest drop since 2020, and Governor Newsom signed a new housing law that you're all going to want to pay attention to in the November ballot. And make sure you stay till the end because we're going to talk about a financing change with building ADUs on your property that most aren't talking about. My name is Chris Lamm. I'm a nationwide mortgage lender. And if you get anything valuable out of this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, or ask questions. I get back to them on a regular basis. It helps this video get out to more people. First, mortgage rates touched a one-year high this week, just under 6 3/4. On Tuesday morning, the June inflation report landed and prices actually fell for the month, the biggest one-month drop we've seen since 2020. Now that made mortgage bonds rally and rates eased back off of the high, but they're still in a very volatile space for a lot of reasons we'll talk about in this video. This is going to leave mortgage rates somewhere in the mid to high sixes, and it's still about a quarter point better than it was a year ago. But for a lot of people buying homes, they want to see it better. And the big Fed question this year is whether they're going to cut rates or not. And for a lot of investors and people that predict what the Fed is going to do, there's two things that they're saying. Number one, this Fed is very unpredictable. He's not like the last one. But number two, the data is saying that it's way more likely we see the Fed hike rates this year than to drop them. We're all going to have to pay attention and see. If you're someone holding a rate that's above 7 1/4, you probably could refinance right now, but for anyone that's lower than that, you're still going to have to wait and see what happens throughout the rest of this year and definitely after the election in November. Just some rough math for you. $300 a month per point on a $500,000 loan is really the number that you want to think about when you think, what would 1% do for me? Everyone else, get your target number on file with me or a lender and make sure that you're in a position to lock. We as lenders have a lot of tools now where you can be alerted the day that it makes financial sense for you to refinance. And if you're not on my Lock Alert program, please feel free to reach out. I'd love to help you. The second thing we're going to talk about is some of the housing changes in the state of California. On Monday, Governor Newsom signed a housing package called AB 179. Most of it's sort of plumbing, but it's going to put some real pressure on cities to cut building fees, which would create more inventory for affordable housing, which is something we all want to see. Now, two pieces matter to most homeowners in California specifically. One, it's going to create a $100 disaster rebuilding fund. Sorry, not $100. That wouldn't help anyone. A $100 million disaster rebuilding fund ran through the state housing agency. If a declared disaster ever takes someone's home, which happens a lot in California, the state has a benefit that will lower the cost of rebuilding your house. The second part is $750 million in a housing bond that they're going to put in front of voters. Now, if this passes, it funds down payment assistance for first-time buyers and recharges the CalVet loan program. Now, a question I get all the time is, how do I build an ADU or an accessory dwelling unit? But we want to talk about this because it really is something that eventually is going to take shape in housing in California, as it is in many markets, such as parts of the Bay Area and Southern California. Your city now has 15 business days to tell you whether your ADU application is complete. This has been a big problem with many cities that have not known how to adopt these rules, and there's been a lot of problems. It's now mandated. If they blow the deadline, it's automatically deemed complete and the approval clock starts. And a lot of people don't know this. Build 500 square feet or less, and school fees come off the bill. If it's a junior ADU with its own bathroom, it can now be a straight rental even if you move away. Long-term tenants only, no Airbnb. That's something everyone wants to know about. Now, here's the money part. Starting this year, conventional loans can count the rent of an ADU as expected income to help you qualify for the mortgage. This is a really big deal for people that want to finance building an ADU or buy a house and convert it. Maybe a part of the house or a detached building is something a lot of people are not aware of right now. Now, this all depends on the person's qualification. There are some specific rules to it, but it's a real thing that we're talking to people about right now. And if you live in a house and you would like to add an ADU and learn more about some of the California laws that have changed and the financing tools that have recently rolled out, that's something we can talk about. Now, there's just a couple more notable things that you want to know. If you've ever applied for a mortgage over the last 3 to 4 years, and you got all those spam calls. I've had clients tell me they got 100 calls after they applied for the mortgage. Sometimes just the most off-the-wall text messages. you're going to be happy to know that that is now illegal. And what we have commonly referred to as trigger leads has been banned by federal law, and you're not going to ever see that happen again. So as a mortgage lender, we're very happy to see that, because we would get a lot of complaints from our clients thinking that we were selling their information. And for those of you that have done a mortgage, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The second thing that's really exciting is that the credit system is getting a real update. There's going to be new scoring models for people applying for a mortgage where we will not have to depend on FICO scores anymore. And this is really good news for first-time home buyers or people who are establishing credit or have been treated unfairly by the FICO system that I, for one, think is a complete scam. The third item I want to just touch on here at the end is mortgage insurance is now tax deductible again, starting this tax year. If you have a CPA that did not write your mortgage insurance off of your loan last year, you make sure that you ask them a question about it. A lot of CPAs may not be aware of this, but this is something you can finally write off again. I know this is a lot of information, but there's a couple more things. I want to talk about veterans for a moment. This is really exciting. VA just launched a new program in June for vets who've fallen behind on their mortgage. Now, it does happen. And, you know, with inflation the way it is, I've talked to a lot of clients firsthand who've been trying to figure out how to manage debt and put themselves in a great position. Well, with VA, you can move the missed payments to the back of the loan at 0% instead of heading towards foreclosure. So if you know a veteran, or if you are a veteran, that's something you're going to want to be aware of. And just to touch on the housing market is really kind of a story of a split right now. Nationally, buyers are having their best summer in years. Sellers are paying for closing costs. Asking prices are clearly down in most markets in America. But where I live in Shasta County, it's the opposite. Homes are moving in about 2 weeks, and California just set another record median price. So the play holds. Sell strong here, negotiate hard wherever else you're buying. And if your kids are buying somewhere else in the country, make sure they're asking the seller to pay their closing costs, because right now they'll often say yes. Now, you guys all know that real estate is hyper-local. Austin, Texas, I've got friends over there right now. I've got a couple clients there. I mean, they've been getting beat up on prices, and California has remained really, really strong. Of course, you've got cities like San Francisco that are having a complete comeback right now. And if you haven't been down there lately, you ought to take a look. Like, I thought San Francisco was never coming back. It's probably the cleanest I've ever seen it, and more on that later. That's it for July, and I know it was a lot. But if anything on this video, whether it be the ADU, the refi math, or if you're looking to make a move, I'd love to talk to you. I do loan in all 48 states. There's 2 that we don't in. So if there's ever something I can do for you, please reach out. I hope you and your family are doing well. That's it for this month. We'll see you soon.